I ain't touching his hand. Those that been in jail with the cat with the Kool-Aid on his lip. Fuck with niggas that think they bras only know how to be one way is the dog. Arr, arr. Fight. Rest in peace to the king. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Brew podcast, episode 14. 14. Want to start off with the dog himself.
R.I.P. May he rest in eternal peace, as they say.
All right, and we are here on a Saturday.
It is 10:50 in the morning. A little bit of a late start because I took the train the wrong way and ended up in Manhattan.
let's kind of get into that, right?
Now, you know what it is? Like, once Saturday comes, it's like, even though it's Saturday, like, it's just this grogginess that I feel on a Saturday for some reason. I don't know what it is. Every single Saturday, it's like, every other day I'm fine. Saturday, I wake up mad groggy. So, like, I just hopped out, whatever, did the morning routine, hopped on the train, came fast. I was like, oh, nice. Hopped on the second train, came fast. I was like, oh, nice. Knocked out, woke up, Canal Street. I was like,
yeah.
Whoa.
So basically, she took the train from her hood to the other train, and then instead of taking it towards my neighborhood, she took it the other way, going towards Manhattan, and she ended up in Manhattan, and then ended up taking the train back all the way here again. And then we find out that she forgot the camera stand, the only thing she's actually supposed to bring.
Besides me.
Camera stand really needs to be here. That's really a lot more important.
I'll mail it to you. I'll do express same day shipping like Amazon. How about that?
Okay, so we are here. Today I'm gonna get into this conversation about the boomers and like our parents and shit like that, right? And we're gonna get into what it was like back then on paper wise on certain things and what it is now and what was expectations then and what is expected now. Okay. Right? So I did some like little homework over here. So in our parents' generation, the only thing they had to do, like to really be successful was one, don't die, right? Don't get disease and die. Don't be dumb. Get a good education. Get a good job. Put your head down and work. Save your money. Get a loan. Buy a house.
Okay, yeah.
That was yeah. And that's what is expected now, right?
Yes.
Like kind of like no, but these things like, yo, could you get me a pillow? Like, I'm gonna explain this, but get me a pillow, please. All right, so basically, it's the same thing. Like, you know, this is what they had to do back then, and we kind of got to do the same thing now. Or is it? That's what I want to really get into, right? So they had to do that, and then, do you know what the average income of the household used to be? From lower class to middle class? Could you take a guess? Don't look at this.
I'm not. Lower class, I would say
per year. And remember, it's back in the day, so it was it looked like less money. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, you know, inflation and shit like that. Like, you know, $1 is worth more back then than it is now. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So in that case, I'm probably going to be way off still. But lower class, I would say maybe 10,000 a year.
Okay, close. They would make 18,000. Okay. So I saw one thing. Like I saw one thing that showed like 8,000. Yeah. And then I saw another thing that showed like 18,000.
Okay, so it's around there.
Yeah. So that was per yearly income of a lower class. Middle class family was $54,000 for the year, and if you take the 18,000, or you know what I'm saying, like forgot. Did I put the? I didn't put. Let's just say if it's half, right? Like you got 1879, and the half of that will be like 9 something.
Yeah.
So if it was 18 they were getting, right now it would be $122,000 per year, lower class. Or if it was even like half of it, which would be, what would be half of 122? 111. No, no, it wouldn't be. It would be half of 122. What would that be?
6.
Half of 50, 60. 60,000.
Yeah. Ish, around there.
About $60,000. So from 60 to 122,000, that was lower income families.
That's insane.
Middle income families was anywhere from $30,000. No, I'm bugging. I'm looking at the wrong number. Middle class families were at highest. Let's just say middle at highest was $373,000 a year. $300,000 a year, more than that. And then if you was to cut that in half, that would be $150,000, $200,000 a year. That was middle class families, lower to middle class families, and that was in 1970. In 1980, it was less. So then they were making about now's times about 67,000 on a lower income family, and a middle income family was still making $200,000 today's times.
Insane,
right? So now I think I looked it up over here. 1990s, 1970s. Yeah, average income of 2020 right now with no college education is 40,000. Back then, you without it on a lower class were around 60 to 100,000. 60 to 100,000. Garage, oil changes, motherfucking regular shit, grocery store type, like just being in a good area type stuff. My boy's dad, I asked him, my boy's dad got like multiple properties in Delaware, and then he has 3 properties in New York. And I was like, bro, how did your dad get all this money? I understand that his family was here for a long time too, and they got it, but I wanted to know how his dad accumulated the money. My boy said his dad just worked hard, kept his head down, and he explained the process. So the dude had one pharmacy. He worked in a farm. When he was very young, his mom knew a friend that owned the pharmacy. She got him a job there at 16, sweeping up the floors. He worked his way up to the register, and then the guy that put him on was basically like, I'm going to give you this pharmacy and get your pharmacist license. But when he got the license, the guy was like, I guess into crazy thing with drugs or something, and then kind of messed that whole thing up and died and stuff. He didn't get the pharmacy. But when he went to go get his pharmacology thing, he went to like fucking Delaware, and then he met a shorty there, and he just set up a shop over there after getting it. So he just had a pharmacy. Everybody's gonna come to a pharmacy. He just set up a pharmacy. He sat there, worked every day, saved up, and then realized property was real cheap. So he bought like a bunch of property. So
he took advantage of the
he took advantage, but this is normal stuff. Like okay, again, yes, he took advantage of it. I'm jumping ahead. He took advantage of what was there. He was being smart. All the stuff that I said, just get a good education, this and that, and things like that. Eating, so boom. That happened, and then that's how things build up from there and stuff, right? Same thing with my pops. Worked in the military, just kept working up more money, saving more money, this and that. So what I wanted to get to conclusion was like, I just feel like it was way more easier if you just had your head on right to just get through at those times. Before that was the wars, so it was tough. So like I feel like in those times it was real easy. And our parents were like 20s, 30s. They just like normally like just worked. Focused. Yeah. They would be fine now. Yeah. That's the crazy part. Yeah. So all right, so back then, do you know? Okay, so right now and nowadays, it's 40,000. I would say with no college education you get. With a college education, you do 60,000. And with the 5 years into the college education, I would say you do a 70,000 to 100,000, right?
Yeah.
Lower income families were making 100,000.
That's insane.
You have to go to college and live through Adderall.
You know what it is? They figured out the systems in place figured out that people actually
They just kept charging more. Everybody just charged more. But it was easier.
But I'm saying once something becomes easier to establish, you got to make it a little bit more difficult and get more money out of the people so then they stay beneath a certain salary threshold. So that's where college, to get this now, you're going to have to go through this.
No, but like what I'm saying is the valuations is gone. Like college costs more. Get them off.
Get down. Get down.
College costs more now, and it gives you less. I looked up the statistic of how many college students are unemployed. 53% of college students are unemployed.
That makes sense because
But college is literally 50% more worth now, or maybe 100% worth more now. So now it's 53% unemployment. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, how much employment it was? 60.
That's crazy.
So it was working. Okay, now let's go over here. So it's kind of like I got all this stuff all over the place, but do you know how much a 4-year college cost, a public college cost, a 4-year back in the day, 1970 and 80?
20,000?
4,000. $405. Not 4,000. $10,000 in now time for the year. 10,000. Break that in 4. That's like what, 2.5? Yeah. 2.5, 2,500 each semester. And that's college. That means you're going to go from making 120, from 60,000 to 100,000. Then you're going to go to $300,000. Paying $10,000.
Then it makes sense.
Now you pay 100,000 to make 50,000. But you still gotta pay the 100,000 back. So you're making 50 while paying. You're negative and you can't even work to pay it off. Back then you could just not go and be good, or you can go to work and pay it off. Yeah. It's $405 for the year, bro. Yeah. And let's just say you make 8,000 a year. 10% will be 800. It's not even 10% of what you make if you made $8,000 in a year. You could work and pay it off. You can live at home, work, pay it off, do that. And you could be chilling with money. Mm-hmm. Now, if you lived on your own, it'd be less, but you could still be Gucci. You just have to go through school. Mm-hmm.
That's insane, man.
That's bugged out. This is no computers right now. Like computers, but like let's just say like you're not aiming for that. This is like basic level stuff. This is just college stuff. Yeah, like it can't be that crazy. Public college, $405. You know how much private college is?
Now or back then?
Both. You can do whatever.
Back then, I want to say maybe
15. Private is 400. Public is 405. Uh-huh. So what is private?
500.
1,700. Okay. 1,700. Okay. So $2,000, which is only like $12,000. $2,000 more. Okay. That's private. You could have still paid that with your lower income family. Like, bruh. So, boom. That's crazy. You know how much a house right now? Right now, a house is worth $650,000 average in New York City. We'll stick with this because property values are different and everything. Stick with New York. If you're in New York, a property costs $650,000 average. Same home that was built in 1950. 1950, we're doing money on 1970. These houses been around since that time. Yeah. Right, so watch. The only reason I feel like these houses are standing because they got the work done on them back then when it was affordable for everybody to do the right thing. And they did it right and then it stayed.
Right. Get down.
You gotta like hiss at him or something. All right, so do you know the average price of home in 1970, a medium-sized home and or the rent?
Average price.
And this is a rent for the home we're talking about.
You want me to do the rent monthly or just the average price?
Month, average price for the house and monthly rent.
Average price, 20,000.
17,000.
Close. That's crazy.
My nigga, that's literally $2,000 less. That's crazy. 2,000 is like whatever, but like that's a real price. It's 17,000. And it's 17,000 for the house. You make 8 to 19,000 a year. You can pay it off in 5 years. Now 650,000. You only make $50,000 to $100,000. 650,000 plus interest. So let's say if the house was probably 20,000 with interest, right? 17,000 plus interest, 20,000. 20,000. You could literally, I did the math for this. If you make like $8,000. If you make $8,000, you can put down $2,000 every year, and 10 years you have the house. This is just on the same lower income family household, like the low, one person income, not college graduate, you know not college graduate, garage nigga. No disrespect to garage motherfuckers. Y'all had your time, you fucking killed it. Awesome. Respect. It just goes. Cars are just more complicated now. They hating on y'all shit. I would have been a garager if it was like that. If you know, shit, whatever, It
just goes to show that like moving forward, it's just a big ass game. You just gotta figure this out because this is not.
Bro, what I'm trying to say is like the thing is getting real more complicated for us than what our parents would like really accept.
And that's what they don't realize.
And they don't realize like we're living in a time where we have to literally create jobs. You have to if you want to survive. Be at least at a level of a middle class family in the 1970s. You have to literally create a job that doesn't exist. Yep. When people were getting that money from jobs that already existed. Exactly. And jobs were not a problem then.
Exactly. You're right. And it's bittersweet because of the fact that
everybody was getting married, and by the time they got to this point and they had all their money, divorces, and shorties took the bread and they tried to hold on to the bread, or they cheated, because everybody was booling. And like every song by 2000 was about cheating. Yeah. So like you have the money, like you've already accumulated, like right. So it's so crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's the way everything is just set up. By the time we come out, they think just because we have phones and stuff like that, like it's easier for us. Yes, if things stayed the way with the phones, but things evolve and change, and it gets harder and harder. Like you could get 1 million plays on Spotify and make like $1,000 maybe. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so like it's so different, and things are so differently used now. You know what I'm saying? Like they bought that. If you bought the crib in the 70s at 20. You could have had a $650,000 to $1 million crib now in New York City. Yeah. So you made about $800,000 in a matter of like 70, 80, 90, 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. About 20 years, you made about $800,000. Just buying the house, lower income family.
Yeah, no, it is gonna get like that's
the math your parents won't ever tell you. Yeah. If they didn't do it, they won't tell you that. Like, considering if you had other issues and stuff that was really like your mom's really getting beat up in a corner, she's in like El Salvador, and right. I'm not talking about that, bro. I'm talking about what I've dealt with. I come from a middle class home. Middle to upper where I come from, but then when we come here, we was all 1-bedroom apartment. Like you've been through the ups and downs of, I've seen how it goes. You know what I'm saying? And I had family that you would go to the hood, it already smells like shit because of the open sewer. So I've been in the hood, and I have family. You know, I've been around, so I've seen this stuff. Right. I might not come from the exact lower part, but I've seen how now lower looks. And then when you look at paper, what lower looked back in the day, it's like, bro, this is amazing. Yeah. We're broke with education. Yeah.
Basically.
And people that are making up jobs. Now, if you get an education, your brain's trained to the way it was back then, so you can't create a new job. Because the people teaching you are from back then, who are eating off from back then. They're not eating off from now.
That is good. That is very.
That's like learning to hunt from a guy who's just saved up from hunting years ago. Like, bro, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You chatting.
You're so right. You're so right.
Motherfucker, back in your days, fucking buffalo would walk down your block. Now there's no buffaloes, dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dog, I gotta literally plant my buffalo. I gotta plant my buffalo, bro. It took 10 years to pay off a home. Now it takes a whole lifetime of two families paying off the home. If that.
I think
if you could get a loan, if you could even classify as a loan.
I think that's why the kids now and like, you know, the generation now and the younger generation, they're gonna have
shit gets me tight, yo.
Yeah,
these motherfuckers
they're gonna have such a hard time because there's such a disconnect in society right now where people
like it's even harder. Like them, they didn't have like cell phones, distractions like we did, right? And then now these younger kids are like trying to decide what sex they are. Like it's it's already mad problems already. Like it's so many. Bro, what? Like even our age people getting to parents won't even understand certain issues that our kids are facing. Right. But it's good to lay down history and understand where you are for what situation. Of course. You know, like I feel like if you stick in a situation where you're trying to do an old school way of doing things, you're only going to be limited to that. And
eventually you're gonna fail with that because
fail or like it's just like because that's the thing, man. Like my boy makes 100,000 a year on construction, but he works so hard every day for hours, his body breaks down. That's $100,000. The doctor makes $100,000. He goes to school for 10, 15 years. He's paying for 15 years just to make the money that he's at a deficit for. To at least live, like, yo, it's crazy. Like it's insane to just be regular at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real hard, and it's because there's less unity. I feel like in people.
Yeah, I think you're really right about that.
Like back in the 70s and 80s, Apple came out, unity, garages, everybody's chilling, hippies, like. Not saying it should be like that. I'm just saying there was a little more unity. But people coming together.
When people come together, a lot of things spark off because two heads are better than one kind of thing.
Exactly. Like where were they really creating jobs back in those days? The new jobs, basically, where were they doing stuff that you need to do to survive? Now, back in those days, was in colleges with the groups, like in Harvard and Yale. Yeah. These people get together and chat about things and make up new jobs because they were already living in the future. Right. Now, they're probably doing something we don't even know about.
Yeah, they're probably like way
hustling their old money through NFTs and stuff like that. Like you don't even know, bro. It's like it's literally pointless. So you gotta just focus on what you gotta do today and what makes you happy with doing what works today. Like you really can't even like, you know what I'm saying? But like if you was back in the day, a lower income or middle income, it wouldn't benefit you to try to make up a job like that. Right. So it would benefit you to make up a job like that. You might not get paid. You got to think of a job that gets you at least minimum wage now. At least. You know what I'm saying? If you could cover that part of, I can do this and get at least minimum wage, you don't have to go to minimum wage ever again. And then you can work your way up from there. But it's hard. You got to develop a mental mind frame because you could get a minimum wage job developed. Like you could do something that pays you as much as a minimum wage job. But now like because of that you're complacent and you're like, bro, I can't make more money. Like it's just like bro, I do this. Like you try so hard just to stay at the minimum wage level that you kind of boxed yourself into something that only gives you that like extended reach unless you have to multiply yourself a bunch of times to do that.
Well, that's where self-development comes in, like character, because you got to stay hungry. You can't just stay like, oh, I'm just gonna, okay, this is it. Like, no. And that's where.
You want to finish? I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna babble.
So, a good example of this right now, I think I saw DJ Academics put this up, was PNB Rock is tight at his record label again because they made millions. Not again, but like another artist tight at their record label. Okay. Because then when they couple of years in, they end up looking at the paperwork or the 5-10 year contract that they had and seeing how much the company, the record label made compared. So he was complaining like, he's like, yo, they made millions off of me and I haven't even made a million yet. It was like DJ Academics like pointed out, well, bro, like you wanted to stop recording in the bando, right, in the garage with the goons in the back in the streets. You wanted to be in a high tech studio. Well, that costs 100,000. Okay, the beats and everything. You want to do that, right? Oh, you don't want to be riding around in Ubers and Lyfts no more. You want to be in the G wagons and the fucking Bentleys and the my homies gotta come. All my homies stay with me, the hotel rooms and or now you want to go on tour in the buses. You don't want to fly public. You know, like with normal commercial and stuff like that. So all these things built up, yeah. and the first like basically he's explained like he got him the first thing they signed him was for 1 million, but that million is a loan that he has to spend on those things to make it back. Now he made 10 million. He made the record label 10 million, but because of all the extra things like his homies and the recording and this and that, he's already in the whole like he made them 10 million, but because they gave him 1 million. He's in the hole of 8 million and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like basically because of all this stress, so he has to do another record. So you're always trying to get this just money now because the artists have developed such a passion of I need the money now instead of accumulating little money over time. So they personally they do sign over their music like you're doing it yourself. Nobody's really forcing you to.
But that's another thing. Like it just what it all comes down to, and this whole conversation, it comes down to the human being's mental state. Your mental state determines what's going to happen to you in the next 10 to 15, 20 years and how you're going to evolve with life and how you're going to survive and how you're going to provide. Because you can have all the tools in the world, but if you're mentally stuck in a place where instant gratification or back in the days, it doesn't matter what you got in front of you. You're not going to know how to use it. Like, no, it's like you have all the things to make a fire, but mentally, you're like, I can't see how I can make this fire. Even though everything's like literally right there to make the fucking fire. You just got to push a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's really what it comes down to. That and community, like you said. Because when people start to collaborate and just converse, even if they're just talking about nothing, eventually something will fucking come up. Because that's just human nature. Like, we're social beings.
Yeah, man. People got to understand, like, yo, I really, like, the other day I was going to do a music video. Not a music video. I was going to do, like, a video and I put, like, some artist music on it. And YouTube, like, when I was uploading, it was like, oh, this music is by this artist. There will be ads played on this video, but the money will go to the artist, right? And I was like, oh, so I tried a free beat. And the free beat was made with 2 original songs. So now they were like, no, but this one has 2 songs on it now. You got to pay it. Well, I don't have to pay, but the money's going to go to them. Yeah. So I was just like, yo, bro, y'all got to just start owning your music or your beat or something like that, like, and work up to it. Because you got to understand, like you with music you make now, 10 years from now, like those kids aren't gonna know, and they're gonna like either one way or the other, like depending on how you build your rep up. Yeah. Your music is gonna look at as classic anyway. It's gonna be loved at as classic. It's gonna grow onto people as that. If it's like let's say here's a good technique for a long term and using the easy way. You could make music that's along to the times of now to get in, and then by 10 years when you've already developed your flow or whatever thing as an artist, whatever you're doing, even as a designer, whatever, everything back in the day that was even either mids or lows is worth more because of what you've built up now. Right. So if you've owned it all from 10 years ago, it just accumulates. It all just adds up. And now when you pass, like we've seen with many artists, it's a boom on so it takes care of your family as soon as you pass. You don't have to worry about taking care of your family as much as in the immediate. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's just gonna like that's what people really be worried about. Like, oh, I want the $1 million now, or I want the 200,000 now because I want to buy my mom this. I wanted this. I wanted. So worried about taking care of everything in the immediate. Just worry about yourself. Just accumulate it and stuff like that. People have to take care of themselves too. So it has to work. You got to be a lot just smarter and slower and just work your way up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It all goes back to the development of the person, their character, themselves. Like, if you do not like, if you really want to master life, you got to master yourself, your body, your health, and how you're going to navigate society, and make sure you have a roof over your head, food, money on the side, and then plus to set up your own stability. But this is all, like, literally, it all comes down to mental state. It all comes down to your mental state, everything. Because even if you have everything in front of you, like I said before, if you're mentally not in the right place, you're not going to know what to do, and you're just going to stay stuck. And that's what happens to a lot of people. And the society doesn't make it easier for you anyways. The society has everything set up to make sure that you stay stuck with the instant gratification and the freaking, whatever, the stupid shit that goes on in society and the trends and this. So it keeps people distracted. So they're not actually paying attention. Like, hey, maybe I should just focus on myself. Like, everyone's focused about everyone else except themselves, and they're still stuck in the same shithole. Like, it's not doing anything. And this is something, like, I'm actually really glad you brought up this topic, because this is something that the younger generations, they don't hear. They don't hear it from anybody. They don't hear it from their parents. So they're gonna grow up and
because I'm just tired of hearing from people that their parents kind of put them down and stuff like that. At some point, when the parents are like successful themselves, but they don't like lend a real hand. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of look at you like, oh, they did it because it was simple to do it on your own back in the days. You know what I'm saying? But
they don't know
now, like, you should be using what you got now to help me to get more.
Exactly.
Like, why would you expect me to do way all the way from the bottom? Like, that's like saying I built my house, now you go build your own house. Yeah. It's like, well, bro, at least teach me how to build the house. And like back in your days, the houses were built a lot easier. Like, that's just what it is. Like I can't find the wood to build a house. Back in the days, you had a wood store, you had a porch store, you had a door store, hypothetically, in a sense, like you had the stores to go to for everything. So it was a lot more simpler back then. So you can tunnel vision and focus now. Like, it's like so many different complicated things all over the, like, they just beat off to magazines and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It was simpler. Yeah. And that's why.
And to put on a disguise and go to a neighborhood dirty store, that's cool. That's fun.
Yeah. No, it's just,
now it's called YouTube when you do that.
To be honest, that's why they say, simple is better, like less is more. Because when things are simpler...
No, but it is better now. Things are way better. It's way cooler. We're more smarter. That's why they didn't get the knowledge that they have now, but it was like, it was easier to be like just...
But that's why, like, just going based off what you said, that's why right now, even though things are really difficult, this is actually a really important make or break time for a lot of people, because of the fact that it all really relies on the person to make a job now. Like, that's it. Like, you got to figure this out, or you got to figure this out. And it's cool, because it's like, if you can figure it out, you're going to build your stability off something that you actually want to do. So that's cool. You're not going to be a slave to a job like they were. But
there wasn't even, like, you got to understand, like, now we say we're slaves because they wasn't even, we're getting paid like this low wage. They were getting paid a lot. How are you going to be slaves when the job is paying for your freaking house?
No, but I'm not talking, no, I'm not talking.
That's not a slave. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't slaves to their jobs at all. That was paying them good money to be slaves over there. Now they don't even pay you good money to be slaves. That's what I'm trying to get to.
What I'm trying to tell you is that was an illusionary period for a little bit. That was, if you can see the opportunity, you better take advantage of the shit. It wasn't going to last forever. Society wasn't going to stay like that.
I'm just saying, bro. That was like a 30, 40 year period. I haven't even been alive that long, bro. Homies had a minute. That's true. We got like.
But what's funny is that a lot of people
how long has YouTube been around? How long has YouTube been around? 2003.
Oh, okay. But
recent.
What I'm saying,
how much are they worth? Billions.
Yeah.
Enough said. It's you got to get it way faster because it's so devalued. Like, I'm not trying to compare it to YouTube, but it's like you got to get a lot more now. Like, you just somehow got to figure out, got to get a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you could also get stuck by trying to do your own thing.
Yeah.
And then just getting not even enough.
Right.
Don't even try it. Don't even do it. Don't even get off. No, you're... Go play with the house.
But yeah, man.
Yeah, so, all right. So, before we end it, I just want to go over bring it back to this topic again. Mm-hmm. And, okay. So, right now, household-wise, don't look. Okay. Are you going to drink that? You want water in there?
To get a little.
He literally took like an empty glass and tried to take a sip out of it like a fiend.
I had lemonade in here. That's
why. Powder lemonade. Lemons don't come in powder. What they do is they take blank powder, squeeze lemon on top of it, let it get in there.
What happens is when life gives you lemons, you make powder.
Yeah, nobody really needed to. Like, as soon as you said, like, as soon as you opened up with that's what, life, like, I was like, yeah. Okay, so a household. What race has the most money coming in the U.S. in the household? Earns the highest?
I want to say the typical answer.
Just got one shot, bro. You got one shot at this.
Caucasian?
Yeah, Asians? Oh, white. Caucasians is white?
Caucasian is white. Is Asian?
Why'd you say white? Yo, get off the... Yo, bro. Get... You dog. Dog.
Alright, white people.
Nah.
Asians?
Asians.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Asian household brings in an average of like $87,000. It's the highest among any race. After that is white people at $65,000. I have a screenshot of this put up. I'm not making this up. I just had it from the website. Now this could be a little accurate, inaccurate, disaccurate. So the third is Native and Pacific Islanders, Native Hawaiian, Native Hawaii, $61,000 in the household. Yo, you see this, right? Like that, like even on the household, they're saying like 87,000, bro. That was like lower income family. Yo, that's so. These numbers is type of smishies too. You know what I'm saying? But let's just go by these. Yeah. So, and then after the Pacific Islanders is the Hispanic and Latino community at $51,000. Under them is other races at $48,000. And then there's Native Americans and Alaskans at $44,000. So it kind of looks like Latinos make more money than like other like brown folks, I would say, like
interesting
on this, right? And I'll get into this in a little bit. I have theories, right? Because we're gonna as stuff we've already talked about. So we got Hispanics that make more money. Then it's other races. Then it's Native Americans and Alaskan people, right? 44,000. And then the last people to make the household the less money is Black African American household families. Can you just hold this guy?
Yeah, I'll hold him.
He's just doing this for attention.
Yeah, he is.
He's a cutie. He just wants to be.
Come here.
Okay. So, back again. So, here's my thing, right? Who are the most united race?
Your people.
My people?
Yeah, brown people.
Asians.
Oh, Asians, yeah.
They're the most.
Your people are pretty united.
We're under Hispanics.
Okay, well, yeah, but Asians are.
No, we're not as united. Okay. You're thinking of one family that has literally 1 million kids. The Saudi family is all one family.
True.
That's 1 million kids and going. That's one. That's not called you. They kill each other. That's not united. Okay. That's one family. Queens in the UK, one family. Yeah. Let's not forget this. You can't like put it all like. But China, that's Chinese Communist Party type like that. I'm thinking of most of China. I'm not even thinking much of the Japanese and the Indonesians and the Koreans. They got it. They got their own money. We know what the Samsungs and the Toyotas and the Hondas. Right. We get you. You got it. That's OG shit. Like, I'm just saying. New money coming in China. Because it's so large, all the infrastructure, all the stuff that money was getting made from the 70s was going right into China. All production to come back over here. Okay. So who's the most, because with the whole thing with the Chinese, like not all, but like with the Chinese people, it's like this is you're part of the Chinese Communist Party, so you have to push the party every like even when they get jobs and stuff like that, they move forward. So it's united, right? Right. Most bread. White folks, they've been here type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So Asians. So this is what I don't understand. Even on the statistics, they can say they make more money. So where's this like hate that they really talk about? There's some douchey people, but bro, there's people that hate all kinds of hate races and stuff, and they'll just go at it if they get the opportunity. So what I'm just saying, if you look at real like paper statistic wise, if you're one of the races that makes the most money, how are you like? Are the Asians the new Jews? That's what I'm trying to say. Because before you couldn't say anything about Jews because they'd be like, oh, don't say this, don't say something like the Jews run the world or stuff like that. They're united on the low key level, right? Asians united on the low key level. You feel me? Like, well, they on the high key. So they're like, so everybody gets. So what happens is that as soon as you get to the top, I feel like you gotta put on this hate on you, so they forget about you. Like the Saudi family probably mad bread. 9/11 paid off fucking billions of dollars to the U.S. Like after that 9/11 shit happened. Like it was so crazy. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, we're so hated. But we was really, really hated too. We were just never, as I said, Saudi family. One thing, they wanted to clean up their thing. You know, with that, like, it's like I feel like they just when the hate comes on you, it eventually fades a little, and then it goes to something else or something like that. But it cleans up like what's going on in the middle and stuff like that. Because the hate is so distracting. You don't have control when you're angry. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of bouncing around, but as I said, like, so the white folks is here, they've been here, and then Native or Pacific Islanders, I don't know. I don't even think they got off the island and stuff. Like, and then the U.S. just owned the islands and they're like Pacific Islanders. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the Latinos, when I say Latinos, you come in families illegally, legally, start construction companies, lawn mowing companies. Just Hispanics so united. They just got restaurants. Like they just kind of got the whole family. Like my people do that a little, but on the large scale, it's a lot of Hispanics are more united than anything else.
Yeah. No, like my ex boss that I work for, he had his printing company, and then he started his Peruvian like restaurant chain, and he brought his whole family into that. And he was able to, like, their family basically built up the wealth, so then the family all have houses and
I'm just saying, like, they're united, so that's why on the charts you guys are above my people on that, right? So, and then on the bottom you got African Americans, or just put it like that, with the gangs and then all the the disconnect that happens with that. And I say this does not have to do with how individual families can meet up and be cool and everything, be united. This is not that. This is about people coming together to be like, okay, so how do we all come up? That's what is really this chart was really about. That's what I wanted to get it out there.
And that's really the key,
where it's also so funny how like on media you can see like there's black rappers and they got all this money and all this jewelry and this and that. There's no unity. It's just all a mirage. Like all you see in the media, like on the YouTube and stuff like that, music videos, just all like fake type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you look at paperwork, then it shows like, okay, so if they're at the bottom of the household income, that means like there's got to be either not getting money made, not legal money getting made. You know what I'm saying? Just whole bunch of problems and stuff like that. And then you can see how the thing is really just like like how unity is. It's really about like how do we all come up together, and then the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it really comes down to. So for all the races, I feel all the races that are like making the most money and stuff, they're like, how do we do it the right way? It's really not about the illegal way. It's about the right way, as in like not legal, but the right way, like right way at the right time type stuff. Because what's right now could be wrong tomorrow.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And it could also be a bad thing, which is right.
But it's
like if you gotta eat and you gotta cut a lamb, that's a bad thing, but it's a right thing to do.
Right.
In a way, right?
In a way, yeah.
Because that lamb could just eat grass, but you can't eat grass. That lamb's gonna look good with some grass on top of it as some seasoning.
Yeah, nah.
He's eating all the seasoning. You're like, that stomach gonna be good. Like, yo, you lose it every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's your genetics and your brain going like, kill that nigga. Yeah. Eat him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like it's just like, what is the right thing to do at the right time right now? Right? Like, that's what it boils down.
Well, it's just utilizing right now, because there are tools available right now. It's just figuring out.
But when you got to do that, what you got to do? Look around, right? Pay attention. Learn the area. You got try to live long enough to get the idea of the land.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. And on that note, we're ending this podcast. Thank you for tuning in, guys. This has been a real chill talk here.
This is like Papa 22.
As you can see, he fell asleep, you know what I'm saying? And he just wanted some attention. That's why he kept coming up. He just slept like that. And we're out.
Bye.
Boom.
You are a drama queen, sir.